안녕하세요. You're listening to 4 from On One podcast.
Welcome from Korea, 4 for Man1 podcast. Well, this is our first podcast, so bear with us. We got here with my two mates. First, we got Gio. Gio, do you want to introduce yourself and where you're from and how long you've been in Korea for?
What's going on, everybody? My name's Gio. I am from Chicago, and I've been in Korea for about 7 years.
I should say I'm from Australia. I've been in Korea for 4.5 years. And our 친구, our mate from Korea, Hyukjun. How long have you been in Korea for, Hyukjun?
안녕하세요. I lived in Korea now in 31 years.
So all your life.
I've been in Australia for 1 year, so that's 1 year out. So basically, I'm 32-year-old Korean dude who's doing Korean life in real Korea.
All right, so just to let everyone know, we are broadcasting here in Korea, but we're in 3 different locations. Hyukjun is in a really cool location. Where are you based, buddy?
My place is in HBC, which is Haebangchon. It's the most centered place for, what should I say, cultural mixture of Seoul.
It's next to the main city, Itaewon. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Itaewon, but he's like downtown in the best spot. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
I actually visited your place. The first day we met, I visited your place. It was good fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah. Gio was there too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I didn't go that day. I didn't go. Remember, it was after the practice. We had to get ready for the. But another time for that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. We were we were meeting at the bar, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we all met on the same day. We'll get into that story in another podcast. But Gio, do you want to say where you're based?
So I'm actually located in Ilsan, which is about 45 minutes northwest of Seoul. It's pretty quick by train. By car, it takes about an hour. But we are in the Goyang area, and we've been here for about this will be my 3rd year, and it's all right. You know, it's a nice little break from the cluster of Seoul. You know, people everywhere, cars. It's very quiet out here. A lot of nature, a lot of hiking, mountains, bike paths. It's nice. It's a nice little break from the big city.
So Hyukjun's in Seoul province, and me and Gio, we're in the province that surrounds Seoul called Hyukjun. If I say it wrong, tell me. Like Gyeonggi province, is that right, Hyukjun?
Yeah. If you're saying in English, Gyeonggi province. If you're saying in Korean, Gyeonggi-do.
Gyeonggi-do. Yeah. So I'm in Namyang. So Gio is on the west side. I'm on the east side of the province. So this province surrounds Seoul, like it surrounds the north side, the south side, east and west, and then you got Incheon also surrounding Seoul. So I'm in Namyang. It's same amount of time to get to Itaewon. It takes about an hour, and it's a good spot. It's a new city, really new city. Lots of new buildings, lots of new restaurants. It's a good little town. I've been here for like 6 months. The past few years I've been down in Daejeon, which we'll talk about another time. So, Hyukjun, do you want to say where your family's from? Your family's from a different location, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that's true. So my hometown is called Daegu. It used to be 3rd biggest city, and I believe is 5th biggest city now, because we're losing a lot of population down there. Well, Daegu is kind of famous for hot weather, so we have the nickname of Dafrica, which combines Daegu and the Africa. So if you're Google it like Dafrica, then you will find some pictures that people cooking eggs just on the road, or the hood of the car, and sometimes the rubber cone, the yellow traffic blocking thing,
traffic cones.
Yeah, the traffic cones, they're melted.
Wow.
Yeah, so Daegu is basically like smack bang in the middle of Korea,
yeah? A little bit of southbound, yeah. But
how long would it take from Seoul to Daegu by train or driving?
Yeah, If you're taking the normal train, it will take like 3.5. If you're using KTX, which is the bullet train,
Hmm.
it'll take like 1 hour 50 minutes around it.
Do you see your
So,
family much?
well, I'm trying to, but like
You're-
I think a lot of Koreans does that, in my age, that every members of family are separated because like their job is in the other city, and like, yeah, something like that. So yeah, I miss my family a lot, but there's not many chance to meet up.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
just to give
sad.
a time reference, we've just had our holidays here in Korea. So it's just we're doing this early January. So we just had Christmas and New Year's. Gio, what did you get up for Christmas with your family? Gio's got a young family. What did you guys get up to?
Yeah, so my mom, she actually came to Korea. She came to visit us. She was here for just under 4 weeks, and it was the first time we've seen her in 2 years. So that was really nice. And it was kind of, she was kind of on the fence whether to come or not because with the new social guidelines and the spread of the Omicron, she had to quarantine for 10 days, but luckily all that just, it flew by quickly. And with the remaining weeks that she was here, we were able to take her to Seoul to see Gyeongbokgung Palace. We went to see Cheonggyecheon Stream, and just kind of did that whole Seoul day trip. And then on New Year's, we actually stayed at a hotel in Insadong, which is like a very big tourist area where they have like a lot of like traditional Korean artwork,
Mhm.
and a lot of other fun shops to buy souvenirs and such. And so we just kind of spent that weekend there before she departed.
How would you compare your family Christmas to the Christmas you had growing up in Chicago? Yeah.
Yeah, in Chicago. Oh, well, now you're gonna make me feel a little homesick, but in Chicago, we have this tradition of making tamales every
Yes.
Christmas. And so all my grandmothers and aunts, they would kind of get together and just make hundreds, like bundles and dozens of just tamales, and we would eat them on Christmas morning, and that would last for like a week. But this year, being out here, the one thing my mom did bring was the famous Chicago style Vienna beef hot dogs. All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
So
good.
she brought them from home. She brought some
that's
Italian
great.
cookies, and I went to town on them. They didn't last. So a little
Nice.
taste of home. Yeah, that was really
What
nice.
about your daughter? Your daughter likes this food or she likes Korean food?
My daughter, she eats everything. I gotta give kudos to my wife because they're not picky. Growing up as a kid, I didn't eat my vegetables. Maybe that's why that stunted my growth. But I was a very picky eater. It took me coming to Korea to kind of like open my eyes and as well as my palate, and now I eat everything from moving fish to raw fish to moving tentacles, everything. I'll eat it all.
Moving
And
tentacles.
Sophina is just the same
Yeah.
way. Hmm.
What about you, Hyukjun? What about for you guys in Christmas, Korea, as a Korean, is Christmas a thing?
Yeah, like a lot of Koreans are going to church, even though they're not Christian, because we used to have very good vibes in churches, and they're doing like kids performing some like what should I say, a Christian act,
Yeah, yeah.
and then we're doing a lot of like um what should I say, the 합chang in Korea.
There's like
Um,
the Christian stuff, like the Jesus getting done on the cross and stuff like that. Oh no,
That's
yeah,
Easter time,
yeah.
isn't it?
a burn, born, Jesus being born,
Like
and
Born in the Manger, like that, like the Three Kings, like a play, like a little
Yeah,
drama.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
The
yeah.
three
Actually,
wise
I was
men. Yeah, something like,
on
yeah.
the religion stuff. I had it because one of the things I was surprised when I first came to Korea is how religious the country is. I didn't know Korea was going to be that religious,
Right.
but I looked on
Mhm.
Wikipedia. Great place for stats.
Sure.
I'm sure it's very up to date.
Oh boy.
This stat from 2015, it says 56% of the country is non-religious,
Right.
Mhm.
Protestant 19%, Buddhism 15%,
Mhm.
Catholicism 7%, other 0.8%. I think that other's way higher. But I'm
Yeah.
because everywhere you see there's churches and
Churches.
crosses everywhere in Korea. Like
Yes.
some of them I think are a bit dodgy, but
Mm-hmm.
the country is a lot more religious than I thought it would be. Yeah. And with the kids, Gio, you and me work in schools, because we got Western teachers, we
Yes.
really push the Western holidays on these kids. So
Mhm.
they're starting to love Christmas, Halloween, getting presents. Yeah.
Yeah. Halloween's a big year. It's the time for them to show up in their Marvel characters.
Yeah. Have you
That's
dressed up as
hot right
Santa
now.
once?
Oh no, I'm too short for that. I don't fit the profile.
Wasn't
Yeah.
expected.
Well, I got up early on Christmas Day, 6:30 in the morning. Do you remember that morning? That morning was freaking
It was
cold,
freezing. We had a very, very
minus
cold Christmas.
16, and I went down to Busan.
That's Celsius,
And,
everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, 16 degrees. What's that in Fahrenheit?
I don't know.
Minus 16.
I can't do
Oh.
math. Yeah.
So I went down to Busan, and it was a great time. I tried to get my beach vibes because in Australia, Christmas is in summertime. So
Mhm.
I tried to
Oh,
get my
yeah,
beach
that's
vibes
true.
back. I didn't go swimming though. I was too scared. It was freezing down there as well.
It was
'Cause you-
freezing, yeah.
yeah, they had the wind and this from the ocean. It was so cold, but I had a good time. And then we had New Year's. New Year's in Korea was a bit of a non thing. Yeah, did you guys get out to anything?
No, it was a very sad and uneventful New Year's, at least for us. We were probably back in the hotel room by maybe 9 o'clock, and
Mhm.
we just waited for the countdown. No fireworks, no lights,
No.
no cheering or hollering in the streets because everybody was in by that time. Then again, it was a cold, cold day, and that was it. That's how we rang in the
Yeah,
new year,
which-
unfortunately.
If you're not in Korea, you should understand
Well,
that we've got a curfew. Korea doesn't do border shutdowns or anything like that. They just have curfews and all these random rules. So we had the curfew most of last year, and then they had like 1 month of living with Corona, and it was free for all. Then, like just early
for all.
December, they brought back in the curfew of 9 p.m. So
Yeah, very short-lived
Everything.
period. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hyukjun do anything?
Well,
My
actually,
party
I
animal.
grow up. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. You can define me like that, but I actually grow up in the Christian family, so always my New Year's Eve, my New Year countdown was, doing the service.
Do you wanna,
The
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
For
yeah.
Korea, in
It's
Korea,
more
like
fun.
you have January 1st New Year, like the Western New Year, and then you also got the
Mm.
Korean New Year. Do you want to explain a bit
Mhm.
about January 1st with the children changing of ages and stuff?
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah, that's kind of interesting thing is that in Korea our age counting system is very different from Western culture. So first thing is that when you're born, you're automatically 1 year old, and the year is changed, then you consider yourself as 2 years old. So if you're born the last day of 2021 and the 2022 begins, then you're automatically 2 years old.
Wow, dang.
Yeah.
And then you guys also eat traditional soup, don't you? What's the soup? I can't think of the name. What's the soup you guys
It's
make?
a tteokguk.
Yeah,
How
tteokguk.
would
Tteokguk.
how would you
Mhm.
explain it in English? Like what's in it?
It's basically rice cake
Mhm.
soup,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and well, if you know a little bit about like Korean culture, then you will know what tteok is. But if you're not familiar with the Korean thing or like um South South Asia kind of thing, is that we're using a lot of stuff from with rice.
Mm.
So
It's like a rice cake. Maybe a lot of people have like tteokbokki or something. It's just like a flat rice cake, yeah.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
a
that's
in a
right.
soup in a broth.
A
Yeah.
nice little broth,
Yeah,
sometimes with
but
mandu or dumplings. It's delicious. We actually
yeah,
had that January
yeah,
1st as well. That was our first meal of the day.
yeah. So that's the first meal of the day, and then when you finish your dish, then we consider as like 1 year old. You should be more prosper.
Hmm.
That's the interesting thing, right? So
So
so we used to have the money system like coin,
Mhm.
mm,
right? So and the duck looks like coin.
Ah,
So you're eating it. You're eating the
Ah,
money.
eating
So
money.
okay.
I
I
didn't know
didn't know
that
that. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that at all.
So the fun thing in Geo, like funny thing, asking kids their ages, you got to ask and they give their age 6 or 7, they could actually be 5 or 6. So you got to ask,
Exactly.
is it your Korean age or your Western age? Yeah.
yeah,
That was definitely mind
always.
blowing.
Even when us dating, like you meet a girl and they tell you your age, is that your Korean age or is that your Western age? Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So the last 2 New Years have been affected by coronavirus. Do you want to like before New Year's? I know the parties were much better and the festives were much better before coronavirus. Do you guys remember what you were doing for New Year's
Oh yeah.
here in Korea?
Oh well, I'll go first, but every New Year, probably
Yeah.
from 2013 all the way up to like 2017, I was in a different country for each year, just to escape the cold. I was always in a hot place. So, for example, 2013, my mom and I, we were in Thailand. We were in Khao San Road in Bangkok for that year. In 2015, I was in Singapore. And then in 2016, I was in Guam. I went to Guam that year. And we just partied on the beach, big bonfire. And I got so drunk that I
Yeah.
went to the airport like 30 minutes left of my flight. They didn't let me board, and I just went on a tantrum, and they threatened to call the police on me, and I almost got arrested. And then I just started. It was just a hot mess, and that was the only time in my life I ever missed a flight to Korea. But
man.
after begging, they well, first I had to apologize, and then they gave me another flight that wasn't direct, but I had to lay over in Okinawa, in Japan, where I lost my passport in the airport. It was probably one of the worst New Year's ever. But ultimately, I found it. If there's any place in the world I would lose my passport, it would be in Japan, because they found it. Somebody
That's
returned it to the
interesting.
front desk. It was a lifesaver. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In
That's good.
Korea, I know Hyukjun, I've done a couple of New Years in Korea. One, we did the bell ringing. Have you ever done the bell ringing downtown Seoul? Do you know what I'm talking about, Hyukjun?
Yeah, it's right by Insadong, is
Yeah.
it not?
What's the closest station there? The subway there? Where is
Jonggak.
it? Jong.
It's Jonggak station. It's in the like famous Jongno area. So Jonggak actually means that the place with the bell.
Oh, really?
Jong,
Is that what it means? Okay.
yeah,
Learning
the
something
bell
new.
is Jong in Korean. So Jonggak means the place with the bell. So we ring the bell with the most, what should I say, influenced people from last year. So as far as I remember correctly, this year was like one athlete, and I think CL was there, and there is always actually like famous Buddhist monk should come.
Yeah. So this year you couldn't go and visit. They just did it on TV, yeah. And
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think I read somewhere they did like a metaverse version as well. Like people could go on like online and do like, I don't know. Did you see that?
Oh,
Well, from my
yeah, I
understanding,
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see what it looked like. Did a lot of people do it? Do you know?
Yeah, it was like 2D, like the game from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that. And then
Yeah.
before coronavirus, the fireworks on Han River, yeah. They used to do fireworks on Han River, yeah. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
right?
the beautiful.
I
Yeah,
never
that's
did that
really
one.
beautiful thing.
I did the bell one year, and it's like if you want to go for a traditional Korean New Year's, you go watch the bell. You just stand, line up, and they ring the bell. It's not very exciting or very, but if you want to see some tradition, it's all in Korean. There's no translate. But if you want sort of the Western New Year's Eve, you go to the Han River and watch the fireworks. Because actually, I was watching a YouTube of all the fireworks, like a live feed. They did Sydney. Then I thought they would do South Korea, but they actually did North Korea. Did you see the North Korea
yeah, North
New
Korea
Year's
had
Eve?
the fireworks.
Yeah.
Not even
Really?
us. Isn't that something?
Yeah. So they skipped South Korea, did North Korea, and then they did China, like communist.
Well,
And
it's actually really
they
nice. The following morning, Hyukjun, if you want to talk about that, on January 1st, what is it that many Korean families do the following day?
they're going like a lot of people go to see the sunrise.
Right.
Yeah. We are kind of like far east country, so we believe ourselves that so we are the first ones who
Mm-hmm.
see the first sunrise in the whole world.
Right.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we have East Sea. So Korea is basically covered uh east, south, and west
Right.
by the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the east side of ocean, and then we watch the sun rising. It's I think it's very common and very usual.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go up to the mountain and see the sun coming up. But like for me, like personally, I don't get it. Like,
Is
is
that
that
too early for
in?
you? 6 a.m. is too early.
He's better off just
Yeah.
staying the whole night. I
Yeah.
reckon, just staying up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
better
look, there's the sun. What a coincidence.
um,
Yeah.
one of my best New Year's was actually here in Korea. Like my first year was, I think, 07, 08 winter. That season, my first year, I was based in the country town. So very not, I think there was only 3 foreigners in the whole town. So I was doing a lot of those group tours, with like Enjoy Korea,
Oh,
Adventure
yeah.
Korea.
Been
These
in
tour
several of
groups,
those.
they set up tours for not just teachers, but it's based on a teacher itinerary, like schedule. Anyway, I was doing a ton of those tours that year, and I met some good friends doing a Chuseok tour to Jeju. So these same friends, we went to New Year's in the ski mountains. So did a ski one, countdown in freezing cold weather, good
Oof.
Mm.
fireworks. This was just before the Winter Olympics, so there was a lot of development over there, a lot of getting ready for the Winter Olympics.
Ah,
But that was a great night. Like it was a good night. Like for me, New Year's Eve has never really lived up to expectations. Like
right.
I wouldn't say I've had a great New Year's Eve, but that was a pretty fun one.
That's fun.
Um,
That's great.
yeah, I think it's all about the people you're with. Yeah, like
Absolutely.
Oh,
Hands down.
absolutely, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was in 2019, 2020, just as coronavirus was slowly coming a thing in China. I was back home in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
People paying $200 just to get into a bar. I'm like, I can't
Dang.
do that anymore. Like,
Oh, are you
I pay
kidding?
$200 to just get into a bar.
My wife
Like,
would kill me. Yeah.
obviously, Sydney is famous for the fireworks, but
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh, they have a
I've had
beautiful
some.
display. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the like from the bridge, right?
yeah.
Yeah, right by the Opera
Hyukjun, have
House.
you gone? What's your favorite New Year's? Have you had a good New Year's somewhere?
Well, I told you before that my New Year's countdown was always the in the service. So yeah. But yeah, but I'm like the most interesting New Year's Eve and New Year's thing was when I just became the 20.
Mhm.
Then so I was drinking soju with my friends until like 9 p.m. and
So yeah,
then
every day,
come
yeah.
back. Yeah, yeah, basically, and
It was a Tuesday.
come back,
Sorry, buddy. Go
come
ahead.
back.
Go.
Yeah, right. So I came back to my family, and then my family was mad at me because I'm smelling alcohol and like
Mhm.
all the Korean BBQ smells from my clothes. So I had to shower and then drink a lot of water. And people were calling me crazy that like, dude, why did you just left? Like, and then my freaking Torai friends
Mhm.
came to church to pick me
Oh boy.
and go back to Soldier Place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, my
Oh
my
man, that
my
was
New Year's
great.
Eve fail was in Byron Bay. I think it was a couple of years outside high school. Actually, it was the Christmas of I can't say the word, the tidal waves, tsunamis. In
Tsunamis?
Tsunami, yeah.
yeah,
Tsunamis?
yeah,
Tsunami?
yeah, in
Oh,
Southeast Asia, the
oh
one
yeah,
that killed
tsunami. Yeah.
yeah, that year we
Mm.
went to Byron Bay
Oh,
with all my schoolmates, high school mates,
Yeah.
and obviously started drinking way too early, and I was passed out by 9 o'clock. And they eventually woke me up at 11:30, dragged me outside, and I got to party, but I was throwing up everywhere.
Ooh, that's
So,
nasty.
yeah, that was nice.
That's
But
what,
I had
yeah.
some good news I spent 4 years in Canada, in Whistler, Canada, like a ski resort. That had some good New Year's parties. Got some New Year's kisses, so that was always fun.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's actually really interesting. Is that Gio from Chicago is
Mhm.
actually looking for some warm place to have a New Year,
Yes.
and Keith from the warm weather looking for a ski resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You picked up on that,
Yeah.
huh?
Mm.
That's very
Unfortunately,
interesting.
I don't
our
like the cold.
seasons don't match. Yeah, I don't like the cold too. I like the snow and the skiing, but I don't like the cold. I wish Australia and Canada seasons matched, and then I'd just do
Mm.
Aussie summer, Canada winter, Aussie summer, Canada winter, or Aussie summer, Korean
Mm.
winter. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it doesn't snow much here in
Mm.
Korea. Yeah, the
not
snow's
anymore. Not anymore. I remember when I first arrived here in 2012, like it was like, I wouldn't say blizzard, but we would have like inches upon inches, I don't know, centimeters of snow.
Yeah,
And it would just
yeah.
be freezing. I mean, I would walk to work every morning and it would just be snowing, just falling
Just,
for days at a time.
Mm.
Now it doesn't
It's just-
last.
just brutally cold and no snow. Yeah,
Yeah, I would take the kids outside. We would have snowball fights. We built snowman. Now forget about it. You know, it touches the ground and it's gone. You know, it's kind of sad, but
yeah.
that's all right. It is what it is.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some of the topics we're going to talk about in future podcasts. Is like we might talk about living here in Korea,
Weathers,
winter,
yeah.
spring, food, drink. So follow along with the podcast.
Yeah.
Hyukjun,
Yes.
do you want to say farewell in Korean?
Yeah. All right. So, 지금까지 우리 팟캐스트를 들어주셔서 감사하고요. 저는 서울에서 여러분께 말씀드리는 혁준입니다. 제 친구 키스와 지오바니에게 박수 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.
Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Alrighty, welcome from Korea. This is 4 for Manon podcast. Can we start again?
Yeah, sure.
Get it all out. Get it all out. Yeah. Rip it out. There we go.
All right.
Give it up
Here we go.
Hey.
All right, here we go.
So we wasted a minute.